presenters.
Okay, great. Let's get started. We'll share our screen. And
all right, hello everyone. How is everyone doing today? My name is Brianna, this is Emma, this is Allie, and this is Kate, and we are student physical therapists from the George Washington University, and we are here today to talk about a stretch routine for everyone to try on their own called the morning stretch. And today we're going to, first, before moving on into the presentation, I just want to ask everyone, you can raise your hand in the little hand icon, or you can type in the chat, or you can feel free to say something, but who here has ever woken up in the morning and just felt like they couldn't move their body the way they wanted to? I know I have. Well, what if I told you guys that there is a possible solution to this problem? So today we're going to talk about what stretching is. We're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts of stretching. We're then going to perform the morning stretch routine, and I encourage all of you to stand up or sit down and follow along with us as we give instruction. And then we're going to explain what to expect after stretching. And then at the end of the whole presentation, we are going to take a little quiz to test everyone's knowledge of this presentation. So first of all, what is stretching? So we all have tons of muscles in our body, and stretching is a way to lengthen individual muscles one at a time. Benefits of stretching, besides overall health and well-being, are increasing range of motion, general fitness. They can prevent injuries and also enhances performance. Then another question you guys should be asking is, when should you stretch? And if you ever have any stiffness in your muscles or decreased range of motion, then that might be a good indication that you should be stretching.
so now we'll move on to talk a little bit about do's and don'ts of stretching and what you might expect when you're doing stretching. So some do's that we're looking for is always to use good form. We'll talk you through how to do a few of these stretches and what you should be looking for and feeling. So you always want to keep an eye out for that. If you start to notice yourself losing that form, we want you to stop, rest, come back and try again later. We want you to start with small and slow movements and move further as you feel some of that maybe muscle tightness disappear. And we always want you to stop and rest if it ever starts to feel painful. This is supposed to be good and fun, never supposed to be any pain. We want you to avoid stretching. If you know you've had a recent injury, just skip that section and you can come back to it when you're feeling better or your doctor has told you that you're clear. If you have any balance issues, we want you to make sure that you're safe, have something to hold on to, or do these stretches just in sitting. If you're hypermobile in any joints and you're aware of that, just make sure you're being careful when stretching that area. We don't want you to injure yourself. And lastly, if you have any open cuts or surgical scars or anything that might not have healed yet, we want you to avoid stretching that area so that the skin can heal nicely as it should. What to expect when you're stretching, like we discussed before, was the feeling of maybe tightness, but never again any pain. And the bottom line is we want you to do as much as you feel comfortable doing. You do not have to push stretching to see the results that we want you to see.
All right. Hello, everyone. So now we're going to get into the dosage for stretching. So for these stretches, we're going to want you to perform 2 sets, and we're going to do a 15-second hold. And the big picture here is that for each stretch, we want to hold it for a total of 30 seconds. And again, a big picture is if you feel any type of pain, please stop. All right, everybody. And now let's get into the stretching. So if everyone could clear their environment and get ready to participate. All right, so the first stretch we're going to do is called the upper trap stretch, and this stretch can be performed in sitting. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your arms and put it out, and then you're going to reach it over your head right above your ear, and then you're going to take your head and pull it towards your shoulder. And we're going to hold this one for 15 seconds. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now for this stretch, you should feel it on the back of your neck, and you should feel it on this part right here, which is called your upper trap. Now for the next stretch, we're gonna do it in sitting as well. So I want you to take your 2 fingers and you're gonna place it behind your ears like this. And then you're gonna look down into your lap and push your head down, just like this. And now for the sake of the presentation, we're gonna be holding these stretches for around 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great. And now this stretch again, we want to feel in the back of our neck.
Okay, so the next stretch that we're going to do is what we like to call the chicken wing stretch. And for this one, we'll be stretching out your triceps, which is the muscle that runs along the back of your arm. So I want you to reach your arm all the way up and bend your elbow and reach for the middle of your upper back, right in between your shoulder blades. And you're going to take your other hand, push it below your elbow, and use that to apply a bit of pressure just until you feel that stretch all down in your arm and even into your side. So we'll hold this for 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you can relax out of that. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can relax out of that. And we'll move on to our next arm stretch, which is called, no, too far, sorry, which is called the figure fours. So for this one, we want you to take your arm straight across your body and use your other arm to hook your elbow and apply that pressure there till you feel a stretch through the back of your shoulder. We're going to hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can relax out of that, and we'll do the same thing, other arm. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, you'll be feeling that in the back of your shoulder and even into a bit of your upper back.
And the next stretch we are going to be doing, I hope everyone's having a good time. We are going to be doing a wrist stretch. So you can perform this sitting or standing. If you're sitting down, make sure you're in a sturdy chair that doesn't roll around. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your arm in front of you, keeping it nice and straight. Very good. And you're going to take your opposite hand and you're going to pull gently back on your fingertips towards your body. And we're going to hold that for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, and relax. That's going to be stretching the muscles in this part of your arm. And those are called your wrist flexors. So those are going to help you do all kinds of activities like opening doorknobs throughout the day, picking up objects, things like that. Let's do the other side now. So you'll take that opposite arm and pull back with your opposite hand on your fingertips gently, and we'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, usually we would hold these at least 15 seconds on each side, but for today we're doing 5. The next stretch we're going to be doing is the half pretzel stretch, or something called the leg cross stretch. So what you're going to do is, to the best of your ability, well, you'll make sure you're sitting in a sturdy chair again, but you'll cross one of your legs over the other, and you'll place your hands on the knee, and you'll gently pull your knee towards the opposite shoulder like this. And I'll give everyone a second to get into that position. So again, you're just crossing one of your legs over the opposite knee, placing your hands on that knee, and then gently pulling that knee towards the opposite shoulder. And we're going to hold that again for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you should be feeling that right across your bottom here. And we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So I'll give everyone a second to get into that position. You'll take the left or right leg, cross that opposite leg over the knee. You'll take your hands and you'll gently pull towards the opposite shoulder for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you can't completely cross your leg, you can always straighten your leg like this and then pull that way instead of bending both. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay, everybody see me? Good afternoon, everybody. So for these next two stretches that I'm going to be showing you, you can either be standing up, sitting down, or this is really good for when you're getting out, when you're waking up in the morning and you're sitting in bed. So we're going to start with what we like to call the sun salutation. So I'm just going to take a step back. I hope you can still hear me. So I'm going to try to shout as loud as I can. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand tall, inhale, up, reach for the sky, and then I want you to lean to one side as far as you can. And when you reach your point, I want you to stop and hold it, and then reach with that top hand as far as you can too. And you should be feeling a nice big stretch all along this side of your body. So we'll hold that, come up to center, and we'll move over to the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. This is a really nice way to get your body moving in the morning. The next stretch we're going to be doing is what we call a toe touches. So I want you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart. And I want you to put your arms out like this so you're a big T or an X. And then you're going to bring opposite hand to opposite foot. And we're going to hold this for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want you to slowly come back up, recenter yourself, take a deep breath, and lean over to the other side, opposite hand to opposite toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Come back to center slowly. Nice. All right. So really important with these, you can do these laying in bed, sitting in a chair, or standing up, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. All right. So what's next? So we just gave you our little stretch routine that we made for you guys, and we hope you all enjoyed it and found it comprehensive. So some things we want you guys to think about moving forward is making sure that you're consistent. Consistency is extremely important with finding a benefit from stretching. The more you do it, the more benefit you're going to find over time. We want to make sure that you're holding for 15 seconds per rep for a total of 30 seconds. If it feels good and you want to hold it for longer, great, hold it for as long as you want, but we just want to make sure you're reaching that 30 seconds. Make sure you're taking rest breaks as needed because we don't want you to hurt yourself or overuse your body in a way that creates an injury or aggravates something. And just remember that you might not see results immediately, but over time, if you're consistent, you will begin to see these extremely good benefits for your body. And a really good way to stay consistent is by making goals. Another thing we want you to remember is that there's this thing called DOMS, which just is about delayed onset muscle soreness. And that just means that a couple days after exercise, you're going to feel a little sore, and it can happen from stretching too. But if this persists for more than 4 days, please reach out to a physical therapist or a physician.
All right, and now we are going to do a short pop quiz to see who exactly was paying attention. All right, so the first question is, when should you always stop performing a stretch? And for these answers, you can either shout them out or you can put them in the chat, whatever's easier. So ready? A, when you start to feel pain. B, when you start to feel a stretch. Or C, when you start to feel tightness.
A.
Great.
All right, nice job. It is A. Good. When you start to feel pain, you should always stop performing a stretch. Next question. How should you start your stretching? A, by slowly easing into it. B, quickly. C, with all your strength. Or D, don't start.
A. A.
Yes. Good job, everyone. It is A. And last question. What are the benefits of stretching? A, increases range of motion. B, general fitness. C, helps to prevent injury. D, enhances performance. Or E, all of the above.
E. E.
Great job, everyone. It is E.
All right. Thank you guys so much for participating in our little quiz. We hope you found it educational and a good way to remember everything that we taught you today. So just to wrap everything up for you guys, in conclusion, make sure that you're making goals for yourself. When you're making a goal, you want to pick something that's attainable for you. And just keep in mind that everybody's goals are going to be different. So it's important not to compare yourself to others. And when making a goal, start small. And as you achieve goals, you can make new goals to keep progressing yourself. Stop if you feel any pain. As we've said a couple times, that's the most important thing. We don't want you to hurt yourselves in any way. We want you to feel better. Make sure that when you're performing your stretches, you do them for 2 sets of 15 seconds for 30 seconds total. But as I mentioned before, if you want to hold it for a little bit longer, go right ahead, whatever feels good for you. And of course, take rest as needed.
Will we be able to get a sheet with the exercises on it?
Yeah, we actually, I think we sent Nadia a copy of our home exercise program that we created for you guys, and it has all the same pictures that we use in this PowerPoint too.
And
Thank
there's
you.
instructions on there as well.
Thank you.
And I'll send that out with the recording of the class. So you'll have the recording of the class and the presentation to work off of.
Awesome. So thank you guys so much for your time and your attention. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much for the presentation. I certainly needed the stretching, so I hope other people got as much out of it as I did.
Absolutely.
And the Zoom will stay open for a few minutes before the presentation at 1 starts, but we will swap out the presenters. So thank you everyone for joining us, and feel free to stay on the presentation for the next presentation at 1.
Thank
Thanks,
you.